Well, good morning. Brock Greenhalgh with you this week as Mike Farwell is on vacation. He will be back in the studio on Monday. Until then, it's Wednesday, middle of the work week. Time to look ahead. Lots on the agenda today. Right off the bat, we will be talking with author and historian James Stewart. He was one of the delegates for Wilmot's Prime Minister's Path at the end of July, and he has a new book coming out. The region's former director of community planning is not happy with recent decisions that have been made. Kevin Eby will be joining us to talk as well. We will learn more about an upcoming walk and bike-a-thon to raise funds for housing for veterans. We'll also talk more about running rapid transit down to Cambridge. 11 o'clock this morning in the studio. Joining me will be Ian Hunter, the Blue Jay Hunter, to chat about, in my opinion, the best team in baseball right now. We'll also learn about 100 years of history at Galt Arena Gardens. And then, as always, the last hour is yours. Talkback runs from noon until 1 o'clock this afternoon. In the meantime, time for the Farwell Show 5. 5 stories to start your day off on the right foot. Here you go, in no particular order. Hats off to 69-year-old Kitchener lawn bowler Louise McLean. Louise just won her 3rd national title at the Canadian Para Bowls Championship. McLean started lawn bowling over 20 years ago after losing her sight due to a brain tumor. Louise heads down to Windsor next month for the 2025 Atlantic International Challenge, and we wish her the best. An update from a conversation we had yesterday, the GoFundMe campaign for Yahtzee Runs for Hope. We spoke about it, and the goal is set at $25,000. Just clicked on the GoFundMe. Yesterday, it was sitting at just over $300. It's now been double that. Yahtzee is going to be running the perimeter of the city of Kitchener in November, 51 kilometers. And maybe you want to consider helping out. It was a packed house at the Rogers Centre last night. Just over 43,000 bums in the seats, 73,000 hot dogs consumed as the Bats continue to work for the Bluebirds. Ernie Clement, Dalton Varsho, both going deep. Vladdy had 3 hits on the night, and the Jays come away with a 5-1 win over the Chicago Cubs. The Jays improved to a record of 70 wins and 50 losses on the season, so 42 games left in the schedule before the playoffs begin. It might have been brief. It might have all evaporated by now, but it did rain yesterday after 13 days of dry conditions. Just over 6 millimeters fell last night, and yes, we needed it. We always say that. And tonight is the night. The inaugural 7-iron golf tournament for the Center for Family Business hits the links at the Badlands at 6 o'clock tonight. The Happy Gilmores will tee off at 6, hoping to walk away with some fabulous prizes. There you go. Your Farwell 5 for Wednesday, August the 13th already. Oh my goodness, I look at my watch. We're almost halfway through August. Just slow it down. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. You can also reach us toll-free, 1-800-570-5715. Let's hear what's on your mind. We know Talkback happens from noon until 1, but you can chime in anytime you like. You can give us a call. You can let us know what's going on. Yesterday, we had a few bad dad jokes. Not that I'm encouraging you to call in with a dad joke, bad or good. But if you've got something that you need to get off your chest, something you need to rattle off on, whatever's on your mind, give us a call. We'll take a break in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to this list that we have been talking about since Monday. 100 ways to live a cool life. We've got a few more left to go through them. Ask for seconds when you're at dinner. Never a problem. That's an easy one. Ask for seconds. Make sure that everyone else has gone before you, though, and don't take too much. Get your hands on vinyl. Get your hands on a turntable. I went down that path over the last 5 or 6 years. The collection continues to grow. And it is just one of those things where if you like music and, Spotify fills in the need for you, but if you want to sit down holding an album cover with your headphones are on, you're listening, you're reading the liner notes, you're totally immersed, that's something that you can be doing. Climb a tree. It's been a while. Don't know if I would be able to do that right now, but it's on the list. Get out, climb a tree, sit up there, hang out. Doesn't matter what's going on. Make short, pleasant conversation in an elevator. Ooh, that's a tough one. What do you do when you get in an elevator? Everybody looks down, they look up, they look at the numbers. You're forced into a very, very small space with people that you probably don't know. But maybe you take that first step and you make that short, pleasant conversation in the elevator. Be the first to give way on a crowded sidewalk. Step out of the way. Make room for other people. Hate the haters. Not a big fan of the word, but I get it. Hit a dive bar. Okay, can do that as well too. A couple more here and then we're going to take this break. Test your smoke alarms at least twice a year. Test your smoke alarms. And make dinner with fridge leftovers. Just go in, open up the fridge, see what's what. Make dinner. You can make that happen. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We'll take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh sitting in for the vacationing Mike Farwell this week. JDM Stewart, also known as James Stewart, is a writer, historian, teacher, public speaker. He was on hand at the end of July when Wilmot Council decided to bring back the mothballed Prime Minister's Path. He recently wrote an article applauding the council's decision. And he's also about to launch a new book, The Prime Ministers, Canada's Leaders and the Nation They Shaped. We've had him on the show before. It was timely to have him back on again. James joins us this morning. Thanks for giving us some of your time today.
Great to be back on the air with you, Brock.
So you stopped by the recent council meeting in Wilmot Township. Had they invited you, or was this something that was on your mind? How did that all unfold?
So any citizen can ask to delegate at a council meeting. So I put my name forward as one of the interested parties to speak on the issue of the Prime Minister's Path. And there are actually 11 other people who spoke to council that day as well. So
that's right.
It's an issue that had some interest.
So what are your thoughts on how everything went related to the decision? Did they make the right decision in bringing the path back? Give us your thoughts on that.
I think they definitely made the right decision. I think that the Prime Minister's Path has always been about education and Canadian history. And things went a little bit wobbly in 2021 when the previous council mothballed the project. And so I think now people have realized that this can actually be a piece of history and art and a public installation that can show Canadian history and not venerate it or say that it's all been good.
Right.
But it's an opportunity to educate people about the good things and the bad things that have happened in Canadian history and to do it through these artworks of Canadian prime ministers.
You wrote a great piece in the hub.ca. You looked at all of the turmoil, the scrutiny the township officials had gone through over the past decade or so. The one statue that sort of caused the greatest consternation in most people's minds was that of Sir John A. Macdonald. I know that the council made sort of, a different decision in that angle. Are you happy with how they dealt with that, and how do we move forward from that?
Well, I think there was a lot of pressure on the council to accommodate the various views on the statues, and as you said, Sir John A. Macdonald has been the lightning rod for all of the issues. Mm-hmm. And so I guess if the price of getting all those statues out is to place the MacDonald statue in a less obvious place, I guess I can accept that. But I would point out that it's still ducking away from history a little bit.
Yeah.
And I would just say, Brock, for Johnny MacDonald to be the sole person responsible for what happened to Indigenous people in Canada is really ahistorical, because all of Canadian prime ministers have had a hand in the poor treatment of our Indigenous peoples. It wasn't just Sir Johnny MacDonald. There are many hands of guilt and responsibility for what happened to our Indigenous people throughout Canadian history.
Correct. And it, in some ways, diminishes it when you say, well, it's all on the shoulders of Johnny MacDonald. It's not the case at all. And I think your other point is, when you look at history isn't clean, and it can be dirty, it can be messy, and it's important for us to look at that. When we look at a statue, it's not to say we are honoring this person in a certain way. It's to say, here's who this person was. Learn as much as you can. Learn about all of these individuals and their role in where we are today.
Yeah, I mean, there is an element of honoring someone if you're going to make a statue of them, but it doesn't mean that you're only saying that this person was unimpeachable in his life. It just means this person did some terrific things, which is the case with MacDonald and a lot of our prime ministers. But it also, I think we're starting to see these things now as an invitation for further discussion.
Right.
In a previous world, we wouldn't have discussed any of the bad things that Johnny MacDonald did as a prime minister or another prime minister. But now we've knocked people down a bit, and I think appropriately we have a more rounded discussion about the good and the regrettable.
We're talking about humans, and humans are fallible, and we know that, and it's a tough line to walk, but I think it's an important one to do as well.
Yes. It's history has always been complex, and I think what happens when it gets filtered through media and social media, it becomes very binary and polarizing.
Yes.
Whereas if you think about how history might unfold in a typical history classroom, you would have a far-ranging discussion with your students and come to a very nuanced understanding of the past. And, it's hard to do that in our society today, but that's really what should be happening if you want to understand your country.
We need to take a quick break here. Are you willing to stick around for a few more minutes afterwards and we can continue this conversation?
Yeah, I'm happy to stick around, Brock.
All right, that's awesome. Give us a call if you've got a question as well for myself or for James, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We will take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. Historian, journalist, writer, JDM Stewart joins us this morning. Your upcoming book, The Prime Ministers, Canada's Leaders and the Nation They Shaped It, comes out in September. This is your second book focusing on prime ministers. After 30 years of teaching, most folks might be ready just to dust the chalk off their hands and slow down, but that doesn't seem to be the case for you. What motivates you?
Well, Wilfrid Laurier, the great prime minister, once said that Canada has been the inspiration of his life. And that's kind of my mantra as well. And since Canada is the inspiration of my life, I can't give up trying to tell the stories of Canadian history and trying to keep Canadian history alive. So I will continue to write and speak and talk about Canadian history because I believe it's a fundamental part of trying to understand the country and have an identity.
Well, and thank you for doing that. If we want to get ourselves a copy of the book, it comes out in September. Where can we find them?
I think you can find them at, certainly for pre-orders online. The publisher is Sutherland House.
Okay.
So you could visit their website, or if you go on to your favorite online seller, whether it's Indigo or another online outlet, you can certainly get the pre-order for sure. The book comes out on September 30th.
September the 30th. All right. We will we'll keep pumping that up on our end as well, too. Thanks for giving us some of your time today. It just timed out perfectly, and I really appreciate it.
It's great to be on the show with you, Brock, and have a great summer.
Thank you. You too. Take care. That was James, JDM Stewart. He is the author of an upcoming book, The Prime Ministers, Canada's Leaders and the Nation They Shaped. He was one of the delegates out at Wilmot Township at the end of July talking about the Prime Minister's path. He comes at it from that perspective of research when it comes to looking at everything related to the prime ministers of Canada. Spent 30 years as a teacher, continues to write, continues to work as a journalist, continues to share his ideas, and we're grateful for it. It's important for us to continue to hear those stories. And as we said, history isn't clean and neat and tidy. It's messy, and we can bury our heads, or we can push things to the perimeter to say, we don't need to look at that. But it's important for us to be paying attention to those things as well. One of those things, we know that spotlight was shone on Wilmot Township inadvertently in a lot of ways. But this is where we're at right now. You can weigh in the conversation. You can give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We will be taking a break and getting an update from the news center in about a minute. Looking at the rest of the day, we are just about to talk with Kevin Eby. He's the former director of community planning for the region of Waterloo. Later on this morning, we will be having a conversation with the Reverend Rosemary Redshaw from Freedom Center down in Cambridge to talk about a walk and bike-a-thon that's going to be coming up at the end of August. And later on after that, the idea of light rail transit, where is it right now, heading down to Cambridge and where we happen to be. We might still be 2-3 years out from the shovels going in the ground, but there are many steps that need to happen between now and then, and we want to talk about all of those things. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570. Brock Greenhalgh in for the vacationing Mike Farwell this week. Never fear, Mike will return to the microphone on Monday. Kevin Eby is frustrated, to say the least. The region's former urban planner is watching decades of his work crumble. The award-winning urban planner retired 10 years ago, and since then, the work he had done to ease urban sprawl and protect farmland and the region's drinking water has all come under fire. Kevin gives us some of his time today. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hi, Brock. Thanks for having me on.
So you led growth management and official plans that focused on intensifying housing starts along the LRT corridor. And the idea was protecting farmland and sensitive areas along the southern edge of Kitchener, rather. You were tackling urban sprawl. How hard is it for you to see what's happening now?
I think the big frustration, I mean, it was a little overstated in the introduction, but I think the big frustration is really that we had worked very hard throughout the province to set up a planning regime that was able to deal with the issues of climate change, was able to deal with the major challenges we were facing. And most of it has become undone because of the efforts by the development industry and lobbying the province. And a lot of it came about as a result of COVID. So when the COVID struck and we went through a whole series of changes, it was a perfect storm when it came to the housing market in a negative way. And basically, there were a whole series of reasons why housing went crazy price-wise. Mm-hmm. And the development industry appears to have, to some extent, taken advantage of that in order to attempt to get rule changes made that facilitate especially the designation of additional urban land and the approval of what in reality are some projects that are just far, far too big and are not necessarily in the right places. So it's a little frustrating to watch it come undone. And yet, I think we have some confidence in our area that things like the countryside line will ultimately hold, the LRT will ultimately direct development. And so there's still positive there, but there's concern.
You talked about the idea of the area, the south end of Kitchener, and how important the watershed is in that area. We know 75% of our water comes from those groundwater sources. Years ago, Kevin, there was discussion about building a pipeline to either Lake Huron or Lake Erie as to meet the growing needs for the region. Is that sort of idea coming up again in your mind?
Well, I think it is. It has to come up with the population forecast that the province has generated for this area. There really have been very few, if any, environmental engineering studies done that look at more than 1 million people in the region. And the land that was brought in somewhat arbitrarily as part of the regional official plan approval, not by the region,
right,
but by the province, they added in over 2,000 hectares, realistically would get us into the 1.15 million range. So we have approvals on land that I'm not sure how they're ultimately going to be serviced or if they can economically be serviced. And so we're starting to get ourselves into a world where we had things very well planned.
Yes.
Our engineering departments had good, solid infrastructure master plans. We had good financial planning being done by our treasurer to ensure that services could be paid for. And all of a sudden, the province comes along and throws in a whole whack of land that really has not gone through the proper planning process. Planning is a best fit process, and it really is. It's a case of you have to look at all of the circumstances and you have to all of the challenges, and ultimately you're trying to make a decision that doesn't necessarily give everybody what they want. In fact, virtually nobody gets everything that they want, but it's best for the community as a whole. And we used to laugh about the fact you knew you were doing a good job when everybody was a little bit mad at you.
I like that. And it brings up a point. Has anyone tapped you on the shoulder and said, "Hey, Kevin, it's time to come out of retirement. We need your help again"?
Oh no.
You're not willing to step in there.
And biking, and but having said that, I am involved still in consulting with some environmental groups, consulting with some community groups, and I'm doing a lot of research on my own, especially around the population forecasting, which is just abysmal. What the planning that's being done at the moment is being based on assumptions that were generated, before, especially during COVID. And we had, at that point, we had issues around significant increases in foreign students, significant increases in immigration. We had increases in temporary foreign workers. We had supply chain issues. We had all kinds of things, and probably the biggest was the investor in the marketplace.
Right.
And what's happened since then, the investor's fallen away. The condo market is crashing.
Yes.
Virtually everywhere. The federal government has decreased immigration. They've decreased foreign students. They've decreased temporary foreign workers. And so all of a sudden, the whole planning framework that the province has established over the last 2 or 3 years has no basis, because it's not responding to what are today's realities. It's responding to what were the realities or perceived realities back in the middle of COVID. And things have changed so dramatically. We've got to step back and really take a look at the base information. You can't solve a problem unless you know what the problem is.
Right.
And right at the moment, I'm not sure anybody has a clear understanding of what some of the problems are.
Well, and that's important for you to be able to pull back and take a look at that. And thank you for still, as you said, doing some consultation. It's important. You've got years of experience, and we want to tap into that. We'd love to have you back on the show again as we continue the conversation, and we're going to keep the conversation going on our end as well too. But thanks for giving us some of your time today, Kevin.
Okay, no problems. Happy to come back anytime.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Brock.
Take care. That was Kevin Eby, and years of experience working for the region, and has got lots of ideas right now. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
We had things very well planned. Our engineering departments had good, solid infrastructure master plans. We had good financial planning being done by our treasurer to ensure that services could be paid for. And all of a sudden, the province comes along and throws in a whole whack of land that really has not gone through the proper planning process.
That was former Director of Community Planning for the region of Waterloo, Kevin Eby, sharing his thoughts about where we're at right now. A little frustrated with how things are being handled. I suggested that maybe someone might have tapped him on the shoulder to say, come back to work for us. He's not ready to do that. I also thought about, man, maybe do you run for politics or for a position on council, or I don't know. Lots of possibilities out there. Give us a call. Let us know your thoughts. You live in the region. What do you see happening? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. How do you see things moving forward? I've been amazed in the last 10 years just watching the height of the cities of Kitchener and Waterloo and Cambridge increase. 40-story buildings, 50-story buildings, all along that LRT corridor. That's one thing. Because when you're buffeted by farmland or wetlands that need to be protected, you've got to go somewhere. The idea of what's the ultimate population that you could have in a region this size, growing to 1 million people in the next 15, 20 years. We talked briefly about that idea of years ago, the idea was build a pipeline either to Lake Huron or to Lake Erie, because right now 75% of our water comes from groundwater sources. The other 25% basically comes out of the Grand River. But we will get to that point, and we may be very close to it right now, where we're maxed out. The problem, if I remember correctly, was that the American government at the time was saying, no, you can't tap into either of the two Great Lakes and throw an additional 1 million people using the water, even if it's just on your side of the lake, to use the water for a community of this size. And then you also think about the logistics of building a pipeline from here out to either of the Great Lakes. Lots of things to think about. Speaking of things to think about, do you have any tickets to fly anywhere with Air Canada in the next little while? You might want to check in with what is going on there. The news came out this morning that it looks like flight attendants could be going on strike. That becomes more of a possibility as the hours tick by. Please double check with Air Canada, especially if you're supposed to be heading to the airport in the next couple of days. Another question for you. Have you or would you attend a high school reunion? Here's why I'm asking. We were at the Jays game last night, and I happened to go onto Facebook on my phone, and I see an old friend from high school is also at the Jays game. I haven't seen him in a decade, if not more. I have his contact information. I reach out, hey, where are you at? We got together. We had a chat. It was lovely to reconnect. And I asked if it was okay if I posted a photo of myself and him. He agreed to that, no problem at all. And when I posted it, and I said it was a Tecumseh Secondary School reunion from Chatham, Ontario. One of the comments that came up from another friend of mine was, let's have a bigger reunion. Now, right before COVID, I was in the process of organizing a high school reunion, had people lined up. COVID hits, we keep pushing it back, and the whole thing falls apart. Have you gone to a high school reunion? Would you go to a high school reunion? Is Facebook your high school reunion? Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free, 1-800-570-5715. Do you want to see the people you went to high school with or you haven't kept in contact with? That's the question. Stay with us, though. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. I was just doing the math. The Jays game ended last night at around 10 o'clock. The crew that I was with, we had taken the GO train in from Aldershot. So we had to get back over to Union Station, back on the GO train, back out to Aldershot. From there, drive back into the city, drop off some folks. So it was 1 a.m. 1 a.m., Devin, before I finally put my head on the pillow. I was so excited about coming into work, I couldn't fall asleep right away. And then I was awake at 5 this morning. So I'm struggling a little bit. Devin, in your mind, what does that mean to you? How many hours of sleep do you think I got? What do you got for me?
Home at 1.
Yep.
Couldn't sleep.
Yep.
Up at 5.
Yep.
Did you get 2:30 to 5, 2.5 hours sleep?
Ooh. So I'm gonna round it. I had a little nap before we went yesterday, so I'm gonna add that in. Here's what it tells me. Getting only 4 hours of sleep per night has significant negative impacts on both physical and mental health. It can lead to daytime sleepiness. And Devin can attest to the fact that I just keep yawning in here. Reduced cognitive function. I have to write everything down, which I don't normally have to do. Increased irritability. What? And a weakened immune system. Now, luckily, that's if it's chronic sleep deprivation. This is just one night. And no, Greg, this is not a way for me to have an excuse as to poor golf ability later on this evening. I'm just telling you, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go home and put the blinds down, get back to sleep. It's not easy. Mary, what's on your mind today, Mary?
Well, I've been trying to call in and say, hey, go, Happy Gilmore's, go. And now you tell me you don't have much sleep.
Oh, I will. I don't have to be at the golf course till 5:30 or so. I'm going to go home. I'm going to sleep for 3 hours. Wake up. I'll have the CPAP lines on my face. Those are stripes of I don't know. They're like,
Yeah, well, are you going to take an upper?
Mary, yesterday you were talking about all the people that you kissed, and now you're talking about drugs. No, I might have a cup of coffee. That's about as crazy as it gets. Well, I'm cheering for you guys.
I
appreciate it. We are aiming to hit the rubber ducks into the bucket and chip it over the 16-foot unicorn and blindfold putt. There's another one. I can't remember what it's. See, that's that cognitive function that I've reduced.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know what? This just shows you the kids, the high school kids, and even some of the others, the parents don't, they let them on their gadgets half the night, and you cannot learn. No, you don't sleep. You need your sleep, and you need to put your phone away. And I'm going to have to, I don't want to cut you. I'm sorry, Mary. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry. I'm still clicking on the wrong buttons. Call me back, Mary. You need to take a break from those screens that are lit. Put the phone right away. Anyway, stay with us. We're going to get an update from the news center, but don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570
Brock Greenhalgh in for the vacationing Mike Farwell this week. Never fear, he will return. The Freedom Center in Preston has a simple mission: provide 10 units to veterans as short-term supportive housing. Units would be wheelchair accessible. Veterans would have the opportunity to take part in on-site and off-site programming supported through Veterans Affairs. To that end, organizers are putting the finishing touches on a walk and bike-a-thon event at the end of the month to raise much-needed funds. Freedom Center Board President, Reverend Rosemary Redshaw, joins us this morning. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Brock.
So the ultimate goal, that 10-unit supportive housing development, that's been something you have been working on for a few years now. How's the process going?
Yeah, we've been looking at that since 2019, and we've understood that our church is zoned N1, so we actually have the zoning for that. We did put in a initial report to the city outlining what we wanted to do, and they approved it. So we know that we can do what we want to do on the property. We have actually more than enough property to build a short-term crisis bed unit for veterans. It's an issue where we decided, are we going to continue to work on building the building or just start doing actually the work with veterans? And we decided we would do that and establish that and then continue on with building that building. And so now we're back to saying, okay, we've started the programmings. We understand some of the needs. Let's start looking at building the building. And of course, the price has gone up since we started, but that's our goal. There isn't any crisis intervention unit for veterans across Ontario. We know for sure they're either put in a hospital bed, right, or they're given housing directly. But sometimes they're just not ready for housing. They need that intermediate space to be.
And the other thing too is when you're working with veterans, PTSD is obviously going to be playing a major factor for most of the veterans you're working with. That takes some special handling as well too.
It absolutely does. The PTSD, along with the substance abuse. I mean, there is a lot of different organizations that are working alongside of them. I don't know if you're aware of Breakwater right in Cambridge that works with people who are veterans or first responders. They do have programs working with that, and they also different medications they're working with PTSD that have been changing over the years, so it doesn't allow a dependency on the drug. But that is a big issue. They're trying to find their place back in the community, and they're very different from just regular homeless people. They've, served us. They've been through training. There's a mentality about their existence. So we've, had a learning curve in how to deal with people who have that background of serving our country, as well as the issues they're facing in reintegration.
If we look at the structure itself, the initial goal is about $400,000. The idea would be getting that in place, and then maybe some government grants come your way. Is that how it would work?
Absolutely. We had discussion with Longview Consulting Services, and if we had that initial funding, we could start that process of actually getting the formal papers together, architectural drawings, acceptance, and then you can actually apply for that grant money like you're saying and eventually move forward. There's also a lot of support that can come from Veterans Affairs Canada that would help us along the way, not necessarily at this point, but certainly when we are in structure and we are actually offering the programs to the veterans.
So August 30th, walk us through what's happening on August the 30th.
Okay, so Saturday, August 30th at 210 Water Street South in Cambridge, which is the Paris Rail Trail. We are meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, and anyone and everyone who wants to bike or walk, there is no set limit on how far you go. We'll be there with water, fruit, stuff like that, and we would like you to gather your team and be part of that. You can go on our website, which is www.freedomcenter.ca, and center spelt the Canadian way, R-E, and you will see right away how many days till the walk, and you can go through. You can sponsor anybody you want to do that walk or bike-a-thon and be part of that to raise funds for the Freedom Center.
I like that countdown clock this morning when I took a look at it.
Yeah.
It's front and center.
That's right. Every step or pedal moves us towards our goal. Yes.
If are you still looking for volunteers as well if someone wants to come out and help out?
Oh, we have volunteers that we would love to help out in many different areas. For the Bike-A-Thon, it would be great just to cheer everybody on.
Perfect.
For sure. But the Freedom Center offers all kinds of programs because we're two visions. One is the community center part of the building that would help Ward 3 as well as the top floor for veterans. And we already are offering programs to veterans and to the community. And we would love to have more volunteers alongside, especially right now. We see the real need that veterans are being housed, but there's that piece that we say housing first. And a lot of people believe in housing first model. I believe in relationship model first. And I think you can house people, but they still need relationships. They still need to feel that they have someone they can talk to and share with. It would be lovely if we could get volunteers who'd be willing to go through our peer support training for veterans and be that one-on-one support as they're being housed.
It really is important for that wraparound treatment for individuals.
Absolutely.
And we've talked in the past about the idea of managing homelessness or of solving homelessness. Right now we're managing it and doing what we need to do, but it does take all hands on deck. Thank you so much for the work that you and your organization does as well, because you're right on the front lines and you're seeing it all. And it's important for us to keep bringing that to people's attention. So thank you.
Thanks for having us on, Brock.
Good luck with everything on the 30th. We will pump it up on this end, and people get out there, walk, bike, and go out and make a difference.
Right. Yes, we enjoy everybody to come on board. Check out our website, see how you can get involved.
And watch the countdown clock.
Yes.
Thanks so much for your time, and we'll check in again.
Thanks a lot, Brock. God bless. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was Reverend Rosemary Redshaw. She's with the Freedom Center in Cambridge, and they have an event coming up, Walk and Bike-A-Thon, coming up at the end of August. Check out their website, and the countdown clock is pretty cool. Give us a call, though, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll-free 1-800-570-5715. Let's know. We want to know what's on your mind as well, too. We'll take a quick break, but stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
Have someone they can talk to and share with. It would be lovely if we could get volunteers who'd be willing to go through our peer support training for veterans and be that one-on-one support as they're being housed.
That was Reverend Rosemary Redshaw, Freedom Center Board President, talking about the work they are doing in Cambridge and an upcoming event the end of August. It's a walk and Bike-A-Thon. You can get yourselves involved in that as well, too. It's going to be happening at 210 Water Street in Galt. It's going to get started at 9 in the morning. Everyone is welcome to participate. She talked about the fact that in the area, KW, actually, other than in BC, that there's one of the highest homeless veteran rates in the country. Part of the organization's plan is awareness is around helping people understand the issue as well too. So take a look at their website. The ultimate goal is to raise about $400,000. Then that will allow them to sort of kickstart government grants and get everything going. But they made the decision. It was either sort of build it and they will come, or, hey, they're here already. Let's work with the people that are here, and we'll continue to work on finding ways to build that 10-unit facility in Cambridge. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. You can also reach us toll-free, 1-800-570-5715. Let's hear what you've got to say today, and we'll go from there. I was telling you yesterday about the son of a woman who was in our wedding party, and her son Ollie has been down in Paraguay representing Canada at the Pan Am Games. This was what was posted about a half an hour ago. It says, Oliver reached his goal of racing in the single men's medal round. It was a competitive race. Although he didn't reach the podium, he did really well, giving it all he had. It was heartwarming to see his teammates come and cheer him on. So proud of all he accomplished in international competition, and that's from his mom. So his mom and dad went down as well to cheer him on. Here's a kid who he's going into third year, so I'm going to say it was 5 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, he made the decision that he wanted to see what it was all about. Rowing. Lives about an hour outside of Halifax. Joined a rowing club in Halifax. Made the decision to look at universities based on, partially based on their rowing program. Came up to Ontario, looked at the program at Brock, looked at the program at Queen's, looked at the program at Western, settled on the program at Western, and 5 years later, here he is competing at the Pan Am Games. It's never too late. Well, he's 20 years old. He's got lots of time ahead of him. But maybe there's something that's on your bucket list you want to check off. It's never too late, right? Speaking of bucket lists, a few more off of our list of 100 things to live a cool life. Spend quality money on quality kitchenware. We talked about that already. Making sure that you've got decent pots and pans and utensils and all of those things. It's worth it. Never apologize to simply get out of a situation. That's a tough one, but it's an important one as well, too. Find your favorite place to sit. Go there and sit and think. How often do you do that? How often are you mindful? Just go, sit, and think a while. I like this one. Keep a getaway box just in case. And I'm thinking like in case of like a zombie apocalypse or because you did something wrong and they're coming to get you. A getaway box. That's awesome. I don't have one, but maybe we'll have to put one together. What would you put in your getaway box? Maybe you'd have to put in some sort of, wig, facial hair that you would put on, right? You got to blend in. I don't know. I'll have to do a little more digging when it comes to the getaway box. Look both ways, even crossing a one-way street. You never know. Smart. Tell a terrible joke. We've had a few of those in the last couple of days. Recycle. We're the best at that. Waterloo region, we rule when it comes to recycling. And getting new garbage bins and new recycling bins. Can't wait. I want the large ones. That's the plan. Throw a snowball at a stranger. Maybe not in this day and age. Might not be the best thing to do. Wear vintage clothing. Well, I have socks that I fit in back in 1985. Still have those. I guess those are vintage. They still fit. And I have an earring that no, I don't. Always have fruit at home. That's a good one. And you live in an area where you can get to the markets all around you. There's no reason why you can't have fruit, fresh fruit, mind you. And the last one just says love. There you go. That's something to think about. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. Let's take another quick break, but give us a call. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. We've got some great guests on the way. 10:30 this morning, we are going to be chatting with Doug Craig about the region, moving ahead with Stage 2, rapid transit down to Cambridge. That's at 10:30. 11 o'clock this morning, we will welcome into the studio right here our very own Ian Hunter, the Blue Jay Hunter, to talk all things Blue Jays related. Looking forward to that. 11:30, we are going to have a chat with David Maneri. He is, if you don't know him, check out the website, ithappenedincambridge.com. This guy has his finger on the pulse of all things related to Cambridge. He has written a whole slew of books. The most recent book that's going to be coming out in September is called 100 Years of Galt Arena Gardens, the most storied arena in the world. Can't wait to talk to him about that. That's going to be just, I love hearing those kinds of stories. Noon until 1 today. I love to hear those stories as well, too. the stories that you have, the things that are on your mind, your concerns, your worries, things that are bothering you, right? Get them off your chest. Don't worry. Well, this is your forum. And would you go to a high school reunion? Would you organize a high school reunion? My high school was a little bit different than others in a couple of different ways. The year I graduated in 1988, yes, there was still grade 13. We graduated, and we were the final graduating class because the community around the school in Chatham had changed, and the school board made the decision that what they would do was take Tecumseh Secondary School, which had been a secondary school for over 20 years, and turn it into an elementary school. Now, as a graduating student, it didn't really make that much of a difference to me. However, I still hated the idea that they would take my high school and turn it into an elementary school. So we've always called ourselves the last of the Braves. And the really great thing about going to this high school was there were other high schools in Chatham. You could go to Chatham-Kent Secondary. You could have gone to CCI. You could have gone to John McGregor Secondary School. Could have gone to the Catholic High School, the Pines. There were other options that were there in and around. There was a high school in Blenheim, high school in Wallaceburg, a high school in Dresden. And bigger schools, we're talking, 1,000, 1,200, 13, similar to what we have here in Kitchener. When I started in grade 9 at Tecumseh, the population of the school is about 700. But as families started hearing that the plan was to close it down and turn it into an elementary school, parents weren't going to send their kids there for 1 or 2 years, so the numbers dwindled. By the time I graduated from high school, population of the school was like 300, grade 9 to grade 13. I think that's a little odd, but the greatest thing was you really got to know your teachers and you knew that they cared about you. And those connections are, for me, much stronger than they might have been at another school. Anyway, would you go to a high school reunion? It's in my wheel. It's in there right now, rolling around. We'll take a quick break. We'll get an update from the news center. But again, don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell. The region is about to start a round of public engagement to get some feedback on 5 options when it comes to LRT down to Cambridge. 1, full LRT service from Kitchener to downtown Galt. 3 other options that include partial LRT routes. A 5th option as well where it's rapid bus service. Doug Craig is a regional councillor, and he is a former mayor of Cambridge and very much invested when it comes to the LRT. He joins us this morning. Welcome back to the show, Doug.
Yeah, good morning.
Have you got your shovel ready yet, Doug? Are we there?
No, I think I've put it back in the shed for a while. We're on a bit of a long trip here. What is happening is we're into an initial business case, which is being put together. We will be going public in terms of the different routes, the different economies that will take place with regards to investments. And in November, we will be getting a final business case to then move on into the next couple of years.
So things like environmental assessments, those things have already taken place. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
But now we're looking at things like making purchases of land or purchases of buildings and those sorts of things. I know that we're at the present time we're getting some feedback from the community, and those community feedback, those forums, they're starting to come fast and furious. I think the first one is tomorrow, actually, at Pine Bush Station, and then there's a number of them over the next few months. How important is it in your mind to give people a voice to say, here are the 5 choices, here's what I think should be happening?
Well, I think it's important in order to get the public to come along with you, you need to explain fully what the costs are going to be, what the impacts are going to be, what the economic benefits are going to be, and then let individuals make up their own mind in terms of how they support what we're trying to do. It's a very costly adventure.
Yes.
And we certainly need to have the public on side, along with the federal and provincial politicians who are the key ingredient in making this whole thing come to fruition.
So there's these hoops that you're jumping through, and in a number of ways it might be coming from the province or from the feds to say, do these things, get them all lined up for us, and then we'll come back and we'll start talking finances.
That is correct. Okay, and that's going to be a difficult conversation because part of this initial business plan will be to fully cost essentially what's going to be the ultimate cost to the federal and provincial governments in terms of funding. The initial things we've heard are anywhere from $4.5 to $5 billion. So it's a lot of money.
And that's in 2025 dollars, right? I mean, we ran into the same issue before where, and we know that in 2027 or 2028 dollars, it might be a different story.
Well, if you look at all kind of all projects that are done, major projects like this, they tend to run very heavily into overruns, and we have to be careful with that. I don't want to see that happening. I want the public to clearly understand that we definitely got a hold on this in terms of what we're trying to do and what the costs will be.
I know you don't have a crystal ball, Doug, but if you were to kind of cast your gaze into the future, are you looking at shovels in the ground maybe by 2028? Is that a possibility?
I think it's very optimistic.
Okay.
I think the early 30s.
Okay.
To be realistic, and that's what I want regional council to be. I don't want to get into this forecasting of optimism, which is overshadowed later on by the reality of a late start and high costs. So I've said to council yesterday when we were discussing this, let's be very clear with the public what the costs are going to be, what the outcomes are going to be, and when we're starting this, and when it will be ready to step onto the train.
I like that. I like that approach because otherwise you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment I don't want to say failure, but disappointment, or people saying, hey man, you said we were going to be, riding on these things by 29 and it's not the case. You want it to be clear. Optimism's great in some ways, but let's be realistic about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. I was going to say, if you were just a citizen, and you are a citizen, but if you were a citizen in Cambridge and you looked at these 5 options, what would be, and you've already said finances has got to be number one, but in other people's minds, what's going to make the most sense for them to choose? Maybe they're looking at bus rapid transit saying, well, that might happen a little faster. I might want to pick that one. We really do need to hear what they've got to say, but they also need to know here are all of the pieces that are tied to it.
Well, I think what they need to understand, what we have to put out there is the economic benefits to the whole community.
Right.
And also understand that if you go to bus rapid as an example, you have to then transfer to a light rail at Fairview. And I don't want that. People should have a seamless route from Conestoga Mall down to Ainley Street.
There you go. And let's finish on that because I know we're going to have you back on the show again. Doug, thanks so much for giving us your time. And this is just, as you said, there are many, many more steps along the way, and we want to keep this conversation going.
And many more interviews, I would imagine.
You got it. Either myself or Mike will be talking with you.
Yeah, take care, sir.
Thanks for your time, Doug. Much appreciated.
Bye-bye.
That was Doug Craig, regional councillor, former mayor of Cambridge, talking about where are we at right now when it comes to the LRT, service down to Cambridge. We're still years out, but all of these steps need to be happening and moving us in the right direction. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free 1-800 570-5715. We'll take a quick break, but stay with us. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
I don't want to get into this forecasting of optimism, which is overshadowed later on by the reality of a late start and high costs. So I've said to council yesterday when we were discussing this, let's be very clear with the public what the costs are going to be, what the outcomes are going to be, and when we're starting this, and when it will be ready to step onto the train.
That was Regional Councillor Doug Craig, also former Mayor of Cambridge. We were having a discussion about LRT. When can the shovels hit the ground? He jokingly said that he's put his shovel away back in the shed a few times. The one number that was thrown, or the year that was thrown around, was 2028, but Doug is thinking no, probably into the 2030s before people are riding on that LRT. We'll see, but there are many, many hoops that need to be jumped through in the meantime. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. Here's a number for you. 84,731. Devin, 84,731. Any guesses as to what number that represents? I'll give you two guesses. What do you think, Devin?
Is that something to do with LRT ridership?
No. Good guess. I'll give you one more, and I'll give you a hint. I was possibly a part of making that number yesterday. 84,731.
People munching on hot dogs.
Oh, the number of hot dogs consumed at the Rogers Centre last night for Looney Dog Night on Tuesdays. 84,000 of them, almost 85,000 of them. There were only 43,000 people in the building. You do the math. That's like 1.9 dogs per person. I did my part. I ate 2. I had bought, actually, a friend of ours had bought us some hot dogs. I couldn't get through them. I'd already had some other stuff, and they're good. But it's just like I could hear my heart calling out, don't do it. 84, and that's a record. That's the new record. The record before that, I think, was 84,370, something like that. Yesterday set a record, not only record for this year, number of fans in the seats, as well as number of hot dogs consumed. The interesting thing was, we took the GO train in from Aldershot. At one point, I wanted to get an idea of distance and time and all of those things. So I went on my phone. I used the Waze app. If you're not familiar with it, W-A-Z-E. It's fairly easy to use. You can use it in the car all the time with maps and so on. And I clicked on it. Here we are on the GO train. We are heading to the Rogers Centre. We're 17 kilometers from the Rogers Centre when I click on it. If we were driving at that point, in order to get through the last 17 kilometers to the Rogers Centre, it would have taken 45 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh. From my house to the Rogers Centre, I think, as you know, based on the maps, is about 100 kilometers. But there was no way we were going to be driving down there. The other interesting thing was, and I realized this once we got back to Union Station after the game last night, and thanks to Ron, we did use the path. It was a game changer. The number of people that were in our group returning from the Rogers Centre and taking the train back out to Pearson, I thought that might be the next thing that we decide to do. Takes you an hour, takes you 50 minutes, let's say, to get to Pearson. I'd have to look at the parking, the cost of parking there. But getting from there, getting on that rapid train goes from Pearson right down to Union Station. Hop out of there, go to the game. Right? So many people want to get to the games these days. The place was packed. My wife and I, we had been there a year ago, but we hadn't really realized all of the changes where we were seated during the day. We're just kind of focusing on the game, but we're looking up. We had these great seats in the 100 level. looking around and looking at the mass of humanity up in the 500 level. And it is an amazing sight to see all of those people there to watch a ball game, eat some hot dogs. And I think that as we continue on in the last games of the season, it's going to get more and more difficult to get tickets. I know that the resale market is flourishing right now when it comes to Jays games. It's great to see. There's lots of room on the bandwagon. Climb aboard. This is going to be a run into the playoffs. We're going to see some October baseball. We're going to talk more about that later on. And just kind of sizing everything up for that, because at 11 o'clock, the Blue Jay Hunter, Ian Hunter, is going to join us, and we're going to talk Blue Jays. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We will take another quick break, but stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. And we've got a few callers that they've got something they want to share. It's something that's on their mind. Kyle, what's on your mind this morning?
Well, you know what? You're talking about the Jays, and you're talking about a great game last night, by the way.
Yes.
Just how to get there and stuff. You know what they should do? Pilot project come playoff time, get all-day two-way GO station going from Kitchener to Toronto, even as a pilot project. Because I could just imagine the traffic going in from Kitchener alone to Toronto during the playoffs is just going to be insane. It doesn't matter how you get there, whether it's the GO Transit or going all the way to Aldershot or popping over somewhere. But I think that's what they should do. Get all-day two-way GO as a pilot project during the Toronto Blue Jays when they make it to the playoffs and win the World Series. This will be the great time for them to do it.
Love that idea. I love that idea. And then we can celebrate all the way back and forth on there.
That's right. Well, I mean, you know what? You don't worry about drinking and driving because there's an Uber and the train and all that stuff. You're good to go, my friend, right?
I love it.
All
Kyle,
right, thanks, Brock.
All right, thanks for the call. Ron, again, thank you for the information yesterday, Ron, because it came in handy when we were making our way to the game.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for you.
It was a great night.
You said that you took it from Aldershot. You can also take it from Oakville. I found that's been really good too.
Yeah, a lot of people got on and off at Oakville, and I was looking at that as well too as a possibility.
Yeah. Now, what would be really cool, since we don't have all-day GO, it would be really neat if, say, one of the airlines or Porter or something like that was to build an express flight so that we take an airplane to get to Billy Bishop, and the Billy Bishop just walks to the game.
That's not a long walk, right? You get off Billy Bishop, and there you go. Yeah. A party plane from the airport here. I like it. We just have to get someone to pay for it. We can do that too. That's not a big deal. We'll find somebody.
Yeah.
All right. And when are you heading? You're going to the game tonight?
Yes, I will be leaving at my work in a few minutes, and then sitting out in the hot, boiling sun because I want that bobblehead.
The bobblehead. All right.
What even worse is because he's a switch hitter, you can get a left or you're only going to get a right.
Come on now.
And then you have to hunt down the other one.
Well, you enjoy yourself at the game tonight and give us a shout tomorrow. Let us know how it went.
Will do.
All right. Safe travels, Ron. Ron's heading into the game. Wants to get his Jimenez bobblehead tonight. Lefty or righty. I think he'll be happy with either one. It was an amazing night. Thanks to our friends Steve and Lisa that took us along for the ride. It was lovely. And the dome was closed. That was the big discussion the whole way there because the heat, the humidity, what was going to happen, got inside. And I was thankful because I was watching. We were there. We got in about 6:30. People were coming in after us, and their shirts were, you could tell they'd been rained on, basically. So I don't know if the clouds had, just opened up on some people as they were going into the game. By the time we got out, made our way home, no rain, but we could tell it had been raining all the way along. So it made sense to have the dome close that last night. We'll see. The temperatures dropped a little bit today. It's a high of 28, I think, today. That's comfortable for golf, especially at 6 o'clock at night. So, but don't get too comfortable, Brian Burke, because you know what'll happen, especially if your foursome is matched up with the Happy Gilmores. Just saying. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We are at the top of the hour. We're going to take a break, get an update from the news center. When we come back, Ian Hunter, the Blue Jay Hunter, is going to join me live in studio. Half an hour of nothing but the Blue Jays. Stay with us. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570.
The Whiz Kids had won it, Bobby Thompson had done it, and Yogi read the comics all the while. Rock and roll was being born, marijuana we would scorn. So down on the corner the national pastime went on trial. We're talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque, especially Willie, Mickey and the Duke.
Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week, keeping with things the way they normally are. We don't want to switch things up too much. Ian Hunter, the Blue Jay Hunter, joins us in studio today. He is a news radio creative writer, and he's just a wealth of information and knowledge when it comes to everything Blue Jays. I want to start off. I got a couple of questions. Is hitting contagious in your mind?
Technically, no.
No, but mythically.
Yeah, I would say so. It's just kind of indicative of what this team has been the whole season. They just have production up and down the lineup. There hasn't been one standout. We haven't seen like an MVP-esque season from any of these players, but I would say maybe 9 to 10 of them have been average or above average. So that includes like your bench guys, not just your starters. So I guess it hitting is and isn't contagious, I guess, but it just right now it feels like it is for the Blue Jays for sure.
I got to tell you, we were at the game last night. I had completely forgot that Ty France was a Blue Jay.
Yeah,
that was one of those things where, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's on the team too. It's this. I don't want to call him a group of journeymen, but it seems to be this. You know, it's these ordinary guys that, like, you've got Vladdy, you've got Bo, you've got, George, but a group of great ball players that have kind of been all over the place, and now they've all just sort of landed in the pot here in Toronto.
Yeah, I look at this lineup, and there's not really a weak link there. Earlier in the season, it was a guy like Anthony Santander who was just, clogging up at-bats at the top of the lineup, but he's gone, and now... not sure when George Springer is going to come back, but when he comes back, Jays are going to have to face a tough decision. Like, they're going to have to send down or DFA a decent player, which normally it's like, okay, you just get rid of the guy who's hitting under 100, but there aren't many of those guys on the Jays right now. No. So this is a good problem to have. They also have a wealth of starting pitchers. They might have a 6-man starting rotation coming in here. So this is like the perfect time of year for this to be happening, because normally at the end of the season, you're running on fumes. Yeah. You're pulling up guys from AA, AAA, just trying to see what sticks. And right now they have a ton of guys who have established themselves. So it's a definite change from what we've seen the Jays over the years.
They've got a run of another 5 games at home. Then they're heading down to Pittsburgh for a little while, and then into Miami. I look at the end of August, and they're going to be taking on the Brewers. Is that a World Series snapshot? Are we looking at that thinking this might be a World Series matchup?
Yeah. I mean, potentially. These are probably the two maybe biggest, I don't want to say underdogs, but maybe at the beginning of the season, nobody would have picked either of those teams to be leading their league or at the top of their league. that's going to be a real big litmus test for the Blue Jays. Obviously the series in Los Angeles, that was tough.
Yep.
You're not going to face the Rockies all the time, but yeah, they do have a soft spot of the schedule here. Yeah, I do. The Brewers are kind of similar to the Jays, where the Brewers, especially, they don't have many marquee players.
No.
Like aside from Christian Yelich, I think and Freddie Peralta, those are the only two Brewers I can name off the top of my head.
Rowdy Tellez isn't even there anymore.
No,
right?
That's true. So yeah, that's going to be a really interesting series, and I believe that one's at home too. So it'll be circle that one for sure.
And if it came down to that, right? It's like. This is here at two small market. You can consider Toronto, I guess, to be a small market, but and that's maybe what baseball should be about. It's it can't always be the Yankees and the Dodgers, or it shouldn't always be. We know that it oftentimes is, but let's give some of these smaller market clubs a chance, and they're developing and creating those chances on their own anyway.
Yeah, I think Rob Manfred is secretly hating the fact that the Jays and the Brewers are performing so well, because he wants the Los Angeles, the Chicagos, the Bostons to be at the top there. So I think sometimes just overall baseball fans kind of love an underdog story, and I think if you're a general baseball fan, you are kind of rooting for the Brewers and the Jays right now, because you see the Yankees there every year. You see the Dodgers there every year. It's like, hey, let's give another team a chance.
Well, and the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs are no slouch. They're doing all right on the National League's side.
Yep.
But last night was we were sitting on the third base side, and there were 3 errors right in front of us. And I said to my wife, they were eating popcorn, and it's all butter on their fingers before the game. I don't know if it was just jitters or what it happened to be, but they just did not look good. And the number of hits that just got away from them or up through the middle, they could have got to it. By the end of the game, they kind of turned things around a little bit, but they looked a little jittery at the beginning.
Yeah, I would say when you're playing a team like the Jays that is very fundamentally sound defensively, they don't make a ton of errors. You tend to look like a minor league team. I think back to that 4-game Yankee series. What was it, a month ago or so, where it was error after error after error, and the Blue Jays capitalized on all those. So it's a scenario where, when you're going into the playoffs, I mean, you can definitely get rid of games defensively by making errors. Those are extremely costly. But when you've got a team like the Jays that are one of the best defensive teams in baseball, you don't really have to worry about that. No. And they chip in offensively too. So they're a really well-rounded team.
We need to take a quick break, but Ian's going to stick around for the half hour, which is great. Give us a call if you've got a question, anything you want to talk about Blue Jays. 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We will take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. Ian Hunter joins us this half hour, the Blue Jay Hunter, to talk all things Blue Jays. We've also got some callers, and Preston Paul, you were up first. Preston Paul, what's on your mind today, sir?
How are you, gentlemen, today?
Very well. And yourself?
Good. No, just commenting on how the Blue Jays are playing. I like the hustle.
Yeah.
I like the contact.
Yep.
Home runs are great, but I love just the base-to-base baseball.
We talked about that before. Get them on.
Yep.
Get them over.
Get them in.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about this team is they're not really a home run hitting team. They're they get on base quite a bit. They don't strike out very much. They've got a lot of good bat-to-ball hitters. You will see guys like Ernie Clement. I think he has 4 home runs in the last 5 games, which is wild. But yeah, the odd guy, your bench player will run into one. But for the most part, it's like singles, doubles, and for over the course of a season, that usually gets it done.
Yeah, it's good that he cut down on the strikeouts. It's back in the day, you put your head down when you struck out. Nowadays, it seems like it's no big deal. But I'm glad that they're definitely making more contact and not swinging at everything.
Yeah. And I think Vladdy's a lot smarter about that as well too. So
all right, thanks guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, right. Thanks. Thank you, sir. And it's good to see that the contact that's happening. George, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, good morning, Ian and Brock.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I greet you guys. You know what? Let's have some Pete Rose baseball. Get the base hit, get the ball moving, get the team moving.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're going to start seeing some good results. I think Vladdy's doing it well right now. Just contact, play the game. And I'm also excited about what's going to happen when Springer gets back. My goodness. What an exciting time. I hope that he makes this team the next level up and just keep on marching on.
Thanks for that call. I appreciate that, George. And yeah, like Vladdy was 3 for 3 last night, and singles, right? And it's just like people are waiting for him to knock it out of the park every time. Single works, man.
Yeah, I mean, if there was the one nitpick, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Vlad, he had a couple of tough games, and the power's not there. He's only got 19 homers on the season, but his on base is, I think it's 2 points behind his breakout year in 2021, kind of on par with where he was in 2022 and 23. He's got a career high walk rate, career low strikeout rate. He's a very tough out right now. Yeah. He's not. We know the power. We've seen it. He's hit 48 home runs in a season. I don't know if he's that guy anymore, but if he's in and around the 25 to 30 and he's getting on base at the clip that he is, I think most teams will take that. It's just the fact that now he's got this $500 million pendant hanging around his neck. So when things go sideways for the Blue Jays, people often point towards him. Yeah. But now that they're flying high, he's just kind of like a key in the cog of this machine that's working right now.
If we look at the bullpen, we look at the pitching staff. Any concerns that you have right now? I mean, trade deadline is come and gone, but we're stuck with what we've got. But I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I would say if anything, the Jeff Hoffman thing. He had a rough game on Sunday against the Dodgers. Yeah. 5 walks in 2/3 of an inning. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen that before in my life. So he's had an up and down season, but other than that big blow up, I think he had a bad week in May. He's been pretty solid on the year, but overall, this bullpen is miles better than it was compared to last year. I mean, last year the closer was Chad Green, right? And he was released from this team 2 years ago. Yeah. So the overall quality of it, I think, is just so much better. There's a chance that Jimmy Garcia maybe returns at some point later this year, but it's hard to say because he's got an elbow injury. And then the Blue Jays just promoted one of their top prospects, Trey Savage, to AAA. Yeah. There's a potential that he could join the Blue Jays as a bullpen arm in September. So, I think where things are at with this bullpen, I wouldn't say it's one of the best in the American League, but it's pretty decent. Like, I'd feel confident going with this group of guys into the playoffs.
I love watching Brendan Little pitch. I hold my breath the whole time he's on the mound.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife last night, because where we were seated, I said, you watch every pitch. Kirky's going to have to dig it out of the dirt.
Yeah.
But he makes these guys look like fools, and they know it's coming, but they keep swinging at it.
Yeah, I think it's his curveball is one of the nastiest pitches in the league. His strikeout rate on that is astronomical, but conversely, he tends to give up a lot of walks too. So that's when he's coming into the game with a runner on base. I'm kind of scared, but if he's got a clean inning, I think he's okay. So.
There you go, and it's okay to hold your breath for a little bit.
Yeah, it's always, you're going to have a nervous 8th and 9th. Not everything's going to be a blowout, right?
No, exactly. We're talking baseball. We're talking with Ian Hunter, and there's still time for, if you want to give us a call and ask a question or you've got a comment, give us a shout, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We will take another quick break. Stay with us. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. Ian Hunter joins us in studio, the Blue Jay Hunter, talking all things Blue Jays. They're just getting underway for a 6-game homestand, I think it is, and great start to that yesterday. when you're looking at this time of the year, it would be lovely to win each series, right? Go 2 or 3. But how much give is there in your mind? We don't want to be hitting any slumps between now and the end of the season. But are you holding your breath right now? Or are you kind of like, no, let's just see what happens?
It's definitely a different dynamic. I was telling this to Mike last week that all of a sudden when you're on top of the division, every series the stakes are much, much higher than when you're in second or third. If you lose a series to like a team like the Dodgers or something, it's no big deal. But when you're at the top and you've got 2-3 teams nipping at your heels, that vibe is much, much different. So I think basically from here on out, if the Jays play, and I know I'm setting the bar low, but if they play 500 ball, they should make the playoffs. Right. But I think they need to set their sights higher than that. Yep. They've got to win this division, and they need to be one of the top 2 teams in the American League to avoid playing that AL wildcard series.
Awful.
So I think, winning 2 out of 3 would be nice, but, if you're like 5-10 games over 500 for the rest of the way, I think that puts them in a good spot.
They're in good shape.
Yeah.
In your mind, and I know George would be up there, who's the leader in that clubhouse?
It's probably George. I think I've heard multiple stories. Well, actually, he's kind of Springer is the vibes guy. So he's always the most upbeat one. But if it comes time where someone needs to give a speech and to speak to the players, I don't know if he's that good. Probably Max Scherzer, actually, maybe, because
I would think so.
He's like he's the veteran in the room, 41 years old. He's won a World Series. Or maybe someone like a Kevin Gausman or a Chris Bassett. I think actually I'd probably lean on more of those guys because anytime I see George Springer, I realize he's 35, but he's kind of a large child, it seems like. So, but
I like that. Yeah.
If it comes to a case where someone needs to, be the elder in the room, it would probably be a Scherzer or a Bassett, I would think.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have those people in the wheelhouse. And I was, yesterday looking at that lineup and thinking, maybe Kiermaier was that guy last year, right? And I think maybe even having him still with the team, just stop by the clubhouse every now and then and just kind of rein them in if they need to be and just kind of put them in their place. But whatever they're doing right now seems to be working, and we don't want to mess up that sort of vibe that's happening there right now. We need some people to come back off the injured list, but other than that, we're in good shape. Thanks so much for coming in. This is always a lot of fun.
Yeah,
always a lot of fun to have a chat. Ian Hunter joined us in studio today. We're talking all things Blue Jays, and we'll continue the conversation as we roll on. We're coming to the bottom of the hour. We will get an update from the news center. When we come back, we're going to talk sports even more. David Maneri, author, former sports journalist, Cambridge historian, is going to join us. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570. Brock Greenhalgh in for the vacationing Mike Farwell this week. Galt Arena Gardens first opened its doors in January of 1922. Over 100 years later, it is still in operation. Local author, historian, artist, and journalist David Maneri's website is ithappenedincambridge.com. David's most recent book is titled 100 Years of Galt Arena Gardens, the most storied arena in the world. And David joins us this morning. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Brock.
The most storied arena in the world, that is quite a moniker, but I'm guessing it's well chosen.
It really is. A couple of years ago, a newcomer to Cambridge asked me, why would anybody write a book about an arena? And I said, well, this isn't any arena, and it really isn't. The stories span so many sports, hockey, of course, and some of the greats have played there, but it also spans the speed skating, and there have been Olympic gold medalists and bronze medals there who've trained there, and figure skating, and And it continues. And even the wrestling, there are great stories about some of the wrestling that took place there. So all sorts of activities and all sorts of notables have come through the doors at Galt Arena.
And when you walk in, you feel it. You feel like you're a part of something.
Yes, yeah, you really do. It's a special place. I don't know how many people have told me that. I was just talking to somebody who said their son played minor hockey there, and when they walked in the first time, they almost had tears in their eyes.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
So the book itself has actually become a labor of love for you, hasn't it? It's been a few years, and you've kind of taken it on and run with it.
It has. I of course, as a lot of books do, you don't know how long it's going to take. I thought I'd be finished in time for the 100th anniversary in 2022. But, I can blame COVID, which certainly slowed me down and everything was closed. But there's a lot there with all those different sports and a lot of interviews. And I've got almost 700 footnotes in the book with references to other things. So it took a long time, and it has been a labor of love. It was so fascinating to be enveloped and just dive into this for the last 5 years. It's been part of my life, and it's been very interesting, challenging at times. Like when I get a computer message saying my file has been corrupted, that doesn't help. But it's been, and I've had so much help along the way with people that have played there or competed there, and it's just been wonderful.
You're ready to hand your baby over, though, aren't you? You're ready to let other people take a look at it.
I am, yes. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's one of those things you think maybe it'll never be finished. There's so many stories, but you're right. It's time to hand it over and let others see it.
The book launch is set for the 20th of September. We know that it's going to be available on your website. Are there other spots that people can get a copy?
Well, there are. Wordsworth Books in Waterloo,
yep.
A great local store, will have it after the book launch. And I'm hoping there's a bookstore in Cambridge, the Rookery. I'm hoping they'll carry it too. They're just undergoing a change in ownership. So,
okay. All right.
Yeah.
If you were to scroll through the pages and pick one story out of the countless that are there, what do you want to tell us? What's the one that stuck out? And I'm putting you on the spot here.
I was afraid you were going to ask me that. Okay. There's so many. There's one that I often refer to that it's really a feel-good story. 1956, the Canadian Figure Skating Championships were held at Galt Arena. There was a young up-and-comer junior skater named Donald Jackson. Don Jackson became famous as a world champion, the outstanding skater. He was competing in those championships. There was a little girl by the name of Linda Ward, who was a figure skater, about 8 years old or so, with the Galt Figure Skating Club. So she was there. She was just soaking it all in. She gave Donald Jackson, her idol, a kiss on the cheek. Well, a photographer for the Galt Reporter happened to capture that kiss. And a few years later, when Don Jackson won the world title, he wrote a book. And in that book, he included that photograph of the young girl, Linda Ward. And so a few years go, but that's not the end of the story. A few years go by. Linda Ward teams up with Neil Carpenter. They win the Canadian pairs title. They go to the World Championships in Cortina, Italy, the last time that the Worlds were held on an outdoor rink. And that's the same rink that the KW Dutchman competed at the 1956 Olympics.
In the Olympics, right.
Yeah, and so she's gone over to the Worlds for the first time. Don Jackson comes up to her and presents her with an 8x10 photograph of the kiss, and he says, "Now I want your autograph."
Oh, yeah. Full circle moment right there. That's amazing.
He was. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I need to ask, though, David, I've been on the website. I've been hunting around. How many hours do you have in your day? Because it sure seems like it's more than 24. You've been working. You're always. You're an artist. You're a journalist. You're right. You've always got you're the Cambridge Sports Hall of Fame. Do you sleep?
Yeah. Well, very little sometimes. I wish there were more hours in the day, but I certainly am not bored anyway. It keeps me going, and it's stuff that I I love doing. That's the thing. So it's not difficult.
It's not work then, right?
No, I'd like to get a little bit more sleep once in a while, and occasionally I can get some. Yeah.
Listen, we're going to keep kind of pushing the book sale or the book launch for you. But all the best with everything, and thanks for putting this all together.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, and thanks for pushing the book.
No problem at all. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Very good. Will do. You too.
Thank you. Bye bye. That was David Maneri. He is a jack of all trades and master of many of them. He has got a book coming out on the 20th of September, book launch, and it is looking at, I'm going to say over 100 years now, the Galt Arena Gardens. 1922, and here we are, 2025, still going. Check everything out. It happened in Cambridge.com, and you will be amazed at the kinds of things that David has put his mind to. We need to take a quick break, but we would love to hear from you. 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We know after the noon news, it's Talkback, but we can get started early if you'd like to do that. Stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
It has been a labor of love. It was so fascinating to be enveloped and just dive into this for the last 5 years. It's been part of my life. It's been very interesting, challenging at times. When I get a computer message saying my file has been corrupted, that doesn't help. But it's been, and I've had so much help along the way with people that have played there or competed there, and it's just been wonderful.
That was local author David Maneri. He has just finished putting together a book about the history of the Galt Arena Gardens, over 100 years of history. There's over 1,000 photos, I believe, in the book, 700 footnotes, as he said, and just an amazing work. He said he's spent 5 years putting it together. I don't doubt it. These kinds of things don't just happen overnight. You want to check things out for yourself. It happened in Cambridge.com. He also had a hand in getting the Cambridge Sports Hall of Fame up and running. He's everywhere. So check things out. The book will come out on the book launch is September the 20th. The most storied arena in the world. That's really cool. Check that out. We are 15 minutes away from the top of the hour, and we know what happens after noon till 1 is Talkback. But in the meantime, if there's something that's on your mind, you can give us a call and we'll get you on the air. Dave, you are listener number 47 by the looks of things. What's on your mind today?
Just a quick comment. I'm looking forward to that book when I see it.
Yes.
Because I live in Cambridge.
There you go.
And I'm looking to see if in that book they have anything about Gordie Howe playing there.
I'm just going to, let me see if I can pull up the website, because I was on it earlier this morning and there was a story about Gordie Howe. Let me just go down here. What was I looking at? The book and Galt Arena Gardens. Part of it here. Gordie Howe at Galt Arena. There you go. David Maneri's books. He's got other books that are out there as well too. Local history. He's got Terrier Town, the Summer of '49, Gordie Howe, A Year in Galt. So that's a separate book that he's done. I'm wondering, other than that, there might be a mention of that in there as well too. Yeah. What you've got a connection to that, Dave?
Yeah, relatives of mine who were involved for years in working in that arena.
Wow. And as we were saying on the interview, you walk in there and you just feel that vibe. So yeah, thanks for the call. And I when we know that the book is out and available, it is available on the website as of September 20th. And he was saying Wordsworth Books in Waterloo is going to be carrying it as well too, hoping to get it into a bookstore down in Cambridge. Amazing stories that are out there. And thanks to David for writing them and pulling them all together. And he, as he said, so many people stepped forward and helped out to put that whole thing together. It's amazing to be able to tell those stories. What's on your mind? What's happening? How are you going to spend the rest of your Wednesday? Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. I am looking forward to the Badlands this evening. I'm only bringing my 7-iron. I shudder to think how many golf balls I'll bring with me as well. I don't want to sort of shortchange myself, but I also don't want to walk around with a pocket full of golf balls. Since we can only use the 7-iron, I don't plan on bringing the golf bag with me. I'm just thinking I'm going to walk around with one club in my hand. I think that makes the most sense. We will be donned in our 570 news radio golf shirts, hockey jerseys, white, red, black. They are snazzy. And we're just going to pull it all together. Craig and Greg and Scott and myself, we're going to have some stories to tell tomorrow. I know that much. And we'll see if we come out on top. There are apparently fabulous prizes to be had all throughout the event. It's 9 holes, 6 till 8 tonight. I think there's a bit of a dinner afterwards as well too. So lots of opportunities to enjoy ourselves, and we're going to go from there. During the Talkback Hour, if you're still looking for things to talk about, tell me. Would you go to a high school reunion? Have you? Would you organize one? It's in my brain right now. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. As I said, I planned one or started to plan one right before COVID, and then it all fell apart. Frank, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Brock, a quick comment on the Galt Arena.
Yes.
I was there many, many times in my youth, in the late 50s and 60s, and went down there a bit in the 70s. But the thing I'll always remember, as storied as it is the smell.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, no, yeah. It's a great thing. It's like, there's so many old stores and stuff that still have old wood floors and stuff that they're few and far between, but you go in and you remember the smell.
Yeah, and it kicks up all kinds of memories.
Yeah, no kidding. It really does. And I doubt you'll catch that in the book, perhaps, but anyway, I certainly remember that. I'm glad there's a book out on that arena.
Well, and thanks for your call the other day, Frank, about the idea of not rushing through the days and not wishing our days away. That has stuck with me since you called in the other day, and I appreciate that sentiment.
Well, thanks for carrying on that sentiment for a lot longer, and through the rest of the summer, and have a ball out there with your golf game tonight.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for the call, Frank.
Thank you, sir.
Frank had called in a few days ago and just talked about, don't be in a rush to have it be September or beyond. Appreciate that. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We'll take another break. Stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. Have you checked out a Kitchener Panthers game this year? You have one more chance before the playoffs begin. And yes, the Panthers are in the playoffs. They've got 2 away games. They are at Welland tomorrow night, then over to Guelph on Saturday, home on Sunday against those Welland Jackfish. 2:00 in the afternoon at Jack Couch Park. David Schooley called in the other day, and not a good news story. They had borrowed barbecue from the Portuguese club and kept it, used it, cooked up a bunch of hot dogs and sausages, went to return it the next day, and it was gone. So if anybody has seen that or knows what's going on or knows the right thing to do, let's put it that way, the Panthers and the Portuguese club would appreciate it being returned, if possible. As David was saying, they're sinking money into putting more seating in at Jack Couch, and that's where the money needs to be going at this point, not to go and replace something that had been borrowed. Let's just put it that way. All right. A few more off the list, and I've got this other sort of side list. Some of these things were taken and kind of slid them over to one side. That idea of how to live a cool life, if it's not cool enough for you already, the kinds of things that you need to do. Get out and travel, and it might be as simple as going for a walk in your neighborhood. It could be traveling elsewhere in the world. One caveat to that, Air Canada right now, not the best idea. We'll wait and see what happens in the news in the next few days. But even if you can, how much of your own country have you seen? That's the big thing as well, too. We live in an immense country. How many provinces have you been to? How many territories have you been to? There is so much to see in this world. Get out there. The other one the other day was, just walk out your front door and don't even have a destination in mind and just start walking. Same idea. Go and travel and explore. Step outside of your routine. I saw a quote. It said, "Don't worry about the money that you're spending on traveling. Worry that one day you're just going to think, all I did was go to work every day." So change your commute. Maybe that's all you need to do. A different way to get to work. Go out and take a look at other new neighborhoods. We had a guy on last summer, maybe 2 summers ago, and he was basically mapping out all of the region and walking on all of the roads and all of the streets just to see it all and be a part of it all. Check these different things, different walking paths, getting onto a bike. The time we were in Montreal last week, and I was amazed at the number of cyclists in and around Montreal. I know that Mike has just written an article talking about concerns when it comes to things like the electric scooters and the e-bikes and all of those kinds of things. But on the island, on the island of Montreal, in the area where we were, the app I think is called Bixi, Bixi, and you can rent bikes. It's 15 cents per minute for the bike, or 35 cents a minute if you choose an electric bike. It's $1.50 to unlock the bike. You don't have to return it to where you picked it up from. You can drop it off somewhere else, and it provides you with a map, and it shows you where all of the bike paths are in and around. And it was great to see. I was holding my breath a few times, though, because I was out for a walk one morning, and I saw 2 bikes collide, and I quickly figured out what had happened. One person was obviously dressed head to toe. They had the helmet on. They had their backpack. They knew what they were doing. The other person was riding one of these rentals and just cut right in front of the other person. So, they always say, getting back on a bike, you never forget how to ride it. You got to remember how to do all the other things, like use your hand signals. Those are some important things as well, too. I know we have the orange scooters here in the region that same sort of deal there. You can get on them and use them. Would you use them? Would you use the rental bikes to get around? Or are we too spread out? I don't know. There's lots of things to consider there. But I thought that was an interesting thing that I noticed when we were in Montreal. We are going to take a break and get an update from the news center. Stay with us. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.
Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage outside, or you don't go out Friday night.
Don't talk back.
Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. You got it. The next hour is yours. Talkback. What's on your mind? I can tell you what's on my mind, but you don't need to hear what I think. I want to hear what's going on in your world. And the phone lines are wide open. 519-570-2545, star 570. You can also reach us toll-free, 1-800-570-5715. I remember a year and a half ago, I was filling in for Mike, and it was during the end of December, it was over the holidays, and young Devin Robertson was working in the booth where he is right now. And we had Josh Gorey was here. There was just the three of us in the whole building. It was the 30th of December, I think. It wasn't New Year's Eve, but it was the day before. And it was a ghost town around here, and nobody was calling in. And it was just like, I think everybody thinks we're on repeat. We're rerunning a show. Nobody was willing to call, or they were, who knows, getting ready for their New Year's celebrations. Let's not have a day like that. It makes Devin's job a lot more difficult. My job, well, my job's not difficult. It's enjoyable. And these are the things that we do. We wait for a few phone calls, and then we start. Something else to think about. Sing every day. Do you do that? Even on your own? Sing every day, right? Counts in the shower if you want to do it there, right? Sing with the radio, all those things. And you can make that happen. Toll-free Jay, did you listen to the game last night?
I did, sir.
And what do you think?
Well, I like living my life according to the expectations I have for it.
Yes.
And we'll do the same thing again tonight. And I wanted to discuss patty crime with you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, we need to do a stakeout for the barbecue recovery.
Oh, all right. Like an overnight sort of thing.
Absolutely. Do you have any contacts with how we can get people help to find that barbecue?
There's got to be, I would think there's got to be people in the area that might have doorbell cameras or something like that. And I mean, we've kind of been I don't want to say we've been half joking about it, but it's like one of those things where you're just like, come on, like, how do you go and just take that? And it's got value. And we talked about the fact that people say, oh, well, there's victimless crimes out there. There's no such thing. You do something that you're not supposed to do. You know the difference between right and wrong, and you've got to figure those things out. I understand there are reasons why we do the things that we do. But just come on.
I was looking in, we're going to keep hoping for a good outcome for this.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think that's all we can do.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Dave, Jay, and I'm looking at the next name above you there. Yeah, go Blue Jays, and tonight you're gonna tune in again, and we're gonna hope for the best.
No, we got to hope for a loss.
Hope for the worst. Hope for the loss, and then we get excited about the win.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, toll-free Jay.
I'll let you start missing me now.
That guy's got a good sense of humor. I like that. George, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, Brock, how you doing there?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I really hope they find that barbecue. Being Portuguese myself, it's a real hit to a community, and we value our barbecue and our delicious food. So I really hope they find that.
Thank you. And it's one of those things where it's like, come on, man, just do the right thing, bring it back, or I don't know.
Yeah, what I want to talk about is the second most important thing today.
Okay, second most important thing. What do you got?
Okay, I'm not sure if it's come up yet, Brock, but how are you feeling after everything you've gone through with a late last night? Here you are today.
Yeah.
How are you truly feeling? Has it hit you yet?
I've yawned a lot this morning. I will need a nap when I get home. And I'm not as young as I used to be. I used to be able to burn the midnight oil. That's not happening anymore.
But what? You're right. When you get past a certain age, it's hard to keep that up.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I'm just going to think, get myself some sleep, maybe an hour or two or more. And thanks for that, George. Yeah, and just. But again, Greg says I can't have any sort of excuse, and it's not an excuse. Dave, what's on your mind today? Number 47, number 1 in our hearts. Dave?
Oh, wow. Well, I think you'll change your mind after what I have to say.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, this is a general observation, and I'm emphasizing general observation. I'm not picking sides.
Okay, well, that's a loaded setup right there, Dave.
But on the upcoming Air Canada labor dispute,
yes,
it's not just your local station or our local station, but on the news in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a prominent point of view harping about the lack of pay for not being in the air, or whatever the terminology is, where they're not paying the staff.
Right. So the idea is that, and this is the argument from the people that are it's affecting them. They're saying they don't get paid, or they're not being paid a wage unless the plane is moving. So if you're loading onto the plane,
I understand that.
Right, or if you're sitting on the tarmac waiting because there's some issue, that's what they're saying. But what do you say?
I say, okay, and that's fine. And they went out to the public, and public rightfully said, oh, they should get paid. They should get paid. Here's the balanced point of view. At the same time they're asking the public, and I'm reporting on this, why not report what other airline does pay?
Oh, okay.
Sneaky suspicion. None of the airlines pay.
All right. We're going to do some digging, and we're going to find out, Dave. That's a great point.
Thank you.
All right. Dave, number 47. Great point he made. What happens over at WestJet? What happens at Air Transat? We are going to take a quick break. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. Stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to Talkback. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. Preston Paul, you have been patiently waiting for your chance. What's on your mind today, Preston Paul?
Again, Brock. I missed most of that segment on the history of Galt and the gardens down there in Shades Mill, but I remember, so I'm in my 60s, and I can remember going to Hornets games back in the day, and there was a cigar going on one side of you, there was a pipe going on the other side, there was a couple of smokes going in behind you. You had the heaters up in the sitting up there about 10, 15 feet away from you, and all you see is the smoke going around the garden. But we also, growing up in Galt, going to all the elementary schools, they had skating races. And
yes.
We used to have them at the Shade Street Arena, and back in the day, skating was my life, and I loved going to the skating races every year, and that's what I remember.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And it's great to go back. Do you get the skates on at all these days?
I haven't for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's like riding a bike.
That's right.
I hadn't been on it for years, and then back in the late 90s, where I used to work, we decided to rent some ice and go play some, scrimmage and that.
Yeah.
And I got the skates on after a couple of minutes, other than the pain of the skates and everything. It was like, wow, I'm doing all right out there, other than a lung, coughing up a lung. But
that was all those cigars and pipes on either side of you from the back in the day.
That's right, back in the day. It's so vivid. It's been like, 40, 55 years.
Yeah.
And just so vivid of just the smoke and the crowd and just everything going on. So, but I thought I'd put my 2 cents worth in for that.
Love it. Thanks for the call, Paul. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Buck. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Marie, you have also been patient. Marie, what's on your mind today?
Hey, I was just going to comment on that gentleman caller, I think 2 callers ago, about the airline strike and the pay for the flight attendants.
Yes.
I was a flight attendant decades ago, back in the mid to late 80s.
Okay.
and for CP Air and Intercity Airways, and this issue has been a problem for the flight attendants back then.
Okay,
and
good to know.
They've never addressed it. They've never corrected it. And back then, I know for sure that it was all airlines. I believe it's still all North American airlines that operate that way.
Okay.
They call it block on, block off, and it has to do with the blocks that are put in front of the wheels.
The wheels,
of the
right.
plane when it's parked. When the blocks come off, the pay starts. When the blocks go back on, after you dock, coming in from a flight, then the pay stops. So everything before and after that, you are not paid for, and that includes having to have delays while you're sitting at the gate.
Yeah, just sitting there. And the thing is, I mean,
absolutely ridiculous.
You're working. I mean, you're standing there greeting people getting on the plane. You're helping them getting off, and I don't understand the logic, and I would dig into it, but again, it's that idea. I appreciate the call, though, Marie, because
I don't know how they've gotten away with it for so many years, honestly, because, I've even had a medical emergency that occurred before the plane took off that I was actively involved in and yet not being paid for. And that's, to me, that's even a workers' compensation or, I guess, now WSIB issue.
Right. No, you were just volunteering. Yeah, you were volunteering your time, Marie. That's, that's how they look at it. It's ridiculous. Thanks for that, and thanks for the clarification.
I'm getting this corrected.
I appreciate that, and thanks for the call. And so Marie was saying back when she was in that role back in the 80s, same thing. Block on, block off. That's when the time it starts for the flight attendants, that they start getting paid. The plane comes in, it lands, the blocks go on the tires. That's it. And but we know if you've been on a flight before, there's a lot that happens before you get moving, and as well as after you've come to a stop, or if you're sitting there waiting, right? That idea of getting paid for the work that you do. Would you, if someone asked you just to, you know what, we need you to work 8 hours today, but we're just going to pay you 6. You're okay with that? Sure. I'd do that. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We will take another quick break. Stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. He will be back behind the microphone on Monday. In the meantime, I will keep you company through the rest of this week. We're going to wrap things up in about 35 minutes for today, but I'm back tomorrow. I'll be back here on Friday as well, too. The evening tonight, well, I think the golf wraps up around 8, and then I'm sure we'll have to be there for all the awards ceremony as they're handing everything out to us and going on from there. But I live close to the golf course. I'm wondering, I might ride my bike. We'll see what the weather's like. That means that tomorrow I won't be as punchy as I've been today. It has been quite the morning holding everything together. But I've been able to lean on Devin Robertson, and he is a man among men, was able to help me out. I was curled up in the corner for a little nap, told me to get up, get back to work. Big man at night, big man in the morning. That's the way that it goes. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free, 1-800-570-5715. We've been talking about all kinds of things today. We've been talking about history and learning about the things that go on in and around our community and drumming up old memories. What went on back in the Galt Arena Gardens way back in the day. That always seems to touch a lot of people, right? Because it's like it's a shared experience for people. We took a look at getting that LRT down to Cambridge at some point. Walk and Bike-A-Thon is coming up at the end of August as well, too. So many things that just kind of be going on in the area. There's always something. I said this to you the other day. There's never a reason to be bored in this area. Unless, I mean, and it's a choice, right? We've used that terminology before about, FOMO, the idea of the fear of missing out. You don't want to miss out on anything. But the other, JOMO, the joy of missing out. That idea of maybe you're peopled out. You need a little downtime. And nothing wrong with that at all, too. You got to charge your batteries one way or the other. You got to find out how to live that cool life. Those are the kinds of things you need to take a look at. Do you have a hobby? Do you have a collection? That was the one question that came up the other day. Collection for me, I mentioned before, baseball caps. Wherever we travel, I'll usually pick up a baseball cap, whether it be, so the most recent one was a Montreal Expos hat. I picked up a new Kitchener Panthers hat. The coolest one on my little pile right now, actually, I didn't get it. A friend of mine was in Wales and just happened upon Wrexham, and he was at the sports field there. They had the Wrexham hats for sale. If you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. So I have this lovely black Wrexham Football Club hat. The issue is how to they take up a lot of space. I've only got one top of the head to wear the hat on, and then it's on rotary, rotating them through. What's your collection? What do you collect? Are you willing to tell us and share that? Give us a call. We're going to take a break. We're at the bottom of the hour, but stay with us. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell. Make a wish. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock right now. Andre, you have been patiently waiting, and we are going to turn things over to you right now. Andre, how are you today, and what's on your mind?
You.
Huh? Loaded question.
Yeah, what a silly question, eh? After a day like yesterday. Well, I have to say, Brock, I should say happy Brocky.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah, that's a new one. Happy Brocky.
Okay.
I did watch the movie, Happy Gilmore. And I was thinking about you because you talked a lot about baseball. We talked about, the Kitchener, Florida, the Kitchener Panthers.
Yes.
And you should get more and more and more involved because of your passion. Just like Mike wants to hopefully announce for the Toronto Maple Leaf, but, you're staying here, boy.
Yeah, he can't go anywhere.
No. But the thing is that I've learned Happy Gilmore that he plays, I think he played for Boston, or something about Boston history, right? And
right.
He shoots the ball like a hockey, right?
Oh, yeah, he's got his stick is a modified hockey stick.
Okay, so you guys are playing just Iron 7. I don't know what that is, but I guess you're stuck with that one.
We're stuck with, only one club we can use. We can't use 14 are normally in your bag, and we're not allowed to use those ones, just one.
What about a 34, 33 baseball?
No, we've been told very, very strictly, this is the club you can use. You can't argue with Brian Burke, so we don't even bother.
Because I was going to say, golfers, they always bring an extra pair of pants in case they get a hole in one.
Wah, wah, wah. That's what we called in for earlier today. We've asked for some dad jokes. Andre, oh my. Can anyone outdo that one, Andre? We had the other one yesterday about the guy flipping the turkey over the car. Oh my. These are just... But they're dad jokes, right? What are you going to do? You just gotta dig deep. And I don't know. I'm filtering right now, going through my brain right now. What are some jokes that I could tell you right now? The problem is I'd have to filter them. They're not for air, not for being put out on over the airwaves. Let's put it that way. There's we can figure things out though. We'll make it happen. Scott, what's on your mind today?
I have some dad jokes for you.
Let's hear it.
I'm not being rude or anything here, so I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but these are awesome.
When you put it like that, though, I don't know, Scott. When you tell it they're awesome.
Okay, so what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs hanging on the wall?
Art.
What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs in a pile of leaves?
Russell.
What do you call a guy with no arms and no legs in a hole?
Phil.
Nope. Doug. Phil is the guy beside the hole.
Oh, that's awesome, Scott. What do you call a dog with no legs? It doesn't matter. He won't come anyway. You can call him whatever you want. There's another dad joke for you. Greg, are y'all limbered up? You ready for today? Were you ready to hit the links? What's going on?
Well, I thought I'd check up on you more than worrying about me. But the biggest thing was how many loony dogs did you bring me?
I left 3 under my chair. Let's put it that way. They weren't making the trip home, man. I'm sorry. They just, yeah, you wouldn't want them. You wouldn't want them the day after. I didn't want them the day of.
Oh, I've eaten pizza that fell on the floor in the bathroom before.
Well, you get the 5-second rule.
Oh, yeah, easily. I got a whole half a large. Nobody else would touch it, but that's another story altogether. But, all right, so okay, I better eat before I go out.
Yeah, you should. And like protein, you need to get some carbs and protein. So and like all that stuff is going to last, so that there's no complaint on the 7th hole that you whatever's happening.
All right, so no treats in your bag. Okay, that one's done.
Nope, you gotta live in the high life and just narrow, straight and narrow. I got water, and then we'll leave all that other stuff till after. We gotta stay focused. You can do that. Oh.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Okay, you want some dad jokes? Is that what I heard?
Well, if you got them.
Okay, well, here, you're a teacher. Here's one that you can maybe relate to.
Sure.
Why was the math book bad?
Why was the what, sorry?
Why was the mathematics book upset?
Not sure why.
Because it had way too many problems.
Oh, my gosh. Greg, you get a wah for that one. I tell you, they're not getting any better. Kyle, you got a dad joke for us?
I have one, but I was just going to go back. I would never know why you even eat a loony hot dog or whatever they're called, because they're awful. I sat in line once with my girlfriend. She said, you got to try one. You got to try one. So we got in line, and I had one. I was like, I don't know why we spent 20 minutes in line for god-awful things. So
It's the idea. It's the idea. I'm like, I spent $1 on this loony hot dog. This is great.
They should be giving out free beer for that case, if that's the case.
Right.
To wash it down.
Or giving out Alka-Seltzer.
That's right. And then a hobby of mine, I used to collect, there's a couple of things. When I was a kid, I used to collect hockey programs.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever hockey game I went to, whether it was the Central Hockey League at the time or East Coast Hockey or whatever, I would always collect the program back when I was a kid. And same with mini sticks. I don't know why. And then as I got older, I actually started collecting Formula One magazines.
Ooh.
And I have like a whole collection of Formula One books and magazines and stuff. So yeah, there's a little bit of a hobby of mine that I do.
Right on.
And then the dad joke, what part of the house has its knee up?
Has its knee up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The chimney.
Oh, my gosh.
It's terrible, isn't it?
That's, you know what? See you later, Kyle. That's what you get. But you can call back, no problem. Listen, we're going to take another break, but if you're on hold, don't go anywhere because we're still waiting to hear some good dad jokes. Good is the key word. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell. Toll free 1-800-570-5715. We will take a quick break. You're listening to the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Welcome back to the show. It is Talkback, your chance to have your say. And I'm just looking at the list here. Toll-free, Jay, you have been the one waiting the longest. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm sitting down anyway. It doesn't matter. In the wheelchair, you see. The thing is that, what do you call the cow with no legs in honor of the missing barbecue?
I'm going to give you I know the answer. What is it?
Ground beef.
Ground beef. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I got one for you. What do you get if a cow falls down a hill?
Supper.
Utter disaster. There you go, Jay. Utter disaster. Bob, I'm hoping, Bob, you've got a dad joke or something. What's on your mind?
Sorry, Brock. No, I don't have a dad joke, no.
No problem. What's on your mind?
Okay. I'd like to make sort of a public service announcement.
Yep.
Okay, I was in the hospital for the last week.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Bob.
And I'd like to thank the nurses and the doctors at, well, it used to be called St. Mary's Hospital.
Yes.
On the 7th floor, because they were fantastic. They're overworked, but they're friendly and helpful.
Are you on the mend now, though, Bob?
I gotta go back every now and then, but I'm doing a little bit better, yeah.
Okay.
I had something kind of work related that flares up every now and then.
Boy, oh boy. Well, take care of yourself, and you're absolutely right. Overworked nurses, doctors, we know that they are run off their feet, and the things that they see and deal with every day is unreal. And thanks for giving them that shout out, Bob.
Okay, one more thing,
Yep.
if I could. Hey, Dougie, Mr. Ford, instead of doing something important like changing the names, why do something at the hospitals? Why do something to help?
Spend some money there, right? Not just changing the name at the top of the paper. Great idea, Bob. Thanks, and good luck with the healing. We want to keep us posted.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Have a good day.
Yep, you too. Francis, you're next in line. Francis, number 36. What's on your mind today?
I have a couple for you.
Let's hear it.
Okay, how much does a chimney on a house cost?
I have no idea.
It's free. It's on the house.
Okay. Another one.
Okay, what do you call a monkey that plays in a minefield?
A monkey that plays in a minefield.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
A baboon.
Jeepers. Why am I laughing at those? I guess they're kind of good. Afif, give me the update. Have you gotten the other emails yet?
Yeah, I got the other emails, and I've already applied.
Good. Did you see how long we have to wait for the next part?
Yeah, that one hurts.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, it's one of those things where it's like I'm just going to put it in the back of my mind and forget about it for a little while, and then I'll keep checking maybe in September, October.
Because we have to wait on 2026 anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's nice to get that information.
Yeah, I do have two. I guess dad jokes for you.
Yeah, go. Let's hear them.
First one, I made it up and it's horrible. So
they're all horrible.
You're gonna cringe. All right. So, what did a bad egg say to a good egg?
What did the bad egg say to the? I have no idea.
What an egg.
Oh no. One more. We're gonna let you redeem yourself here, Afif.
This one I heard online, so it's also pretty weird. What did the chicken say when he crossed the? Why did the chicken cross the road?
Why did the chicken cross the road? I have no idea.
Because.
Oh, Afif, we're letting you go on that one, buddy. Man, oh man, it seems like they're getting worse instead of better. What do you call? Oh, what was it now? There was the hanging on the wall and all that sort of stuff, and Russell and oh my, they're challenging. Greg, you're going to get the last one in here before the last break. What have you got for me?
Well, you cut me off too early before.
Well, I knew you'd call back.
You did, eh? Okay. Okay, well, I actually wanted a serious thing, but we'll just stick to the jokes for now. Two more. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
He was outstanding in his field.
You've heard it. Okay. Okay.
One more.
Or one more?
Yeah.
Okay, two guys walked into a bar. Third one ducked.
Jeepers creepers, Greg. There, I don't know, man. I don't know. What did the skeleton say to the bartender? Get me a beer and a mop. Think about that one. Last one, and I know we got people on hold. Don't go anywhere because we're still going to get you on. Did you realize that Dublin in Ireland is the fastest growing city in all of Europe? The population is always Dublin. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got a few friends that want to join in the conversation, and you can have a chance to do that as well. Give us a call, 519-570-2545, star 570 on your cell, toll free, 1-800-570-5715. Stay with us. You're listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Brock Greenhalgh in for Mike Farwell this week. We've got a few minutes left before the top of the hour. Nate, number 8, what would you like to say today?
Hey, Brock. I got maybe 2 dad jokes for you, and then I want to comment on something else.
Go for it.
I'll be quick. What happened to the frog that parked illegally?
He got towed. Yes, he did. Okay, keep going.
And knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow. Oh, yeah, Nate. I saw that one coming. Well, and you want to comment on something?
Yeah, have you picked a theme at all for the music on Friday?
Theme from Friday for the music is going to be all 80s.
All 80s?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So you got to do some digging. All 80s for Friday. Theme for tomorrow, for the flip side, is you need to tell us a time when you won a championship, a medal, an award, something that made you proud. And it doesn't matter if it was for hog calling or whatever it happened to be. Think about it for the flip side tomorrow. A time when you won a championship. Thanks, Nate.
Hey, don't let that Brian Burke guy get on your nerves.
Not at all. He's
all smoke.
That's right. I'm not going to. He's not renting space in my head, man.
There you go, brother.
Thanks, Nate. All right, Grant. What have you got on the mind today? Grant, what are you saying today?
I didn't know you had anxiety.
Yes.
It's good that you got that recognized before it got worse, right?
Well, and we had that conversation. You brought it up yesterday, and that it for me, it came out of nowhere, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, and we got on top of it. But again, it's important for us to talk about it.
Yeah, I know my anxiety. Sometimes I can get these butterfly feelings, or there's something going on in my head. I can't really explain it, or I know a couple other times I was at this concert at the CNE, and after everyone had left, I started gagging.
Oh, wow.
I just had to take my medication, and I was calmed down.
Yeah.
Then I remember going to see Neil Diamond at an indoor concert, and all I did is go out and get a drink. And do you think I could get myself back to my seat? It was like there was a barrier wall there that would not allow me in. And I kind of figured, well, you know what, something's up here.
I know.
I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
It's amazing the way the brain works, Grant, and thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I hear you. There are those times where it comes out of nowhere, and it's important for us to be able to recognize that. Zoltan, what's on your mind today?
That is something else, I'll tell you. Thank you very much for having him on the air.
No problem at all.
Okay, bad joke.
Let's hear it.
What is the difference between a pessimist and an optimist?
Not sure. What is it?
Pessimist says, oh, no, it can't get any better. It can't get any worse. Optimist says, oh, yes, it can.
Zoltan gets the last word today. Thanks for that, Zoltan. This is it. We're going to put a bow on it. We're going to wrap things up here on this Wednesday edition of the show. Make the most of the day that's out there today. Mike would say it. I'll say it as well. Be kind, everyone. Have a great day. You've been listening to The Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.